Hi, my name is Samuel. I'm with Pro Landscape Supply in Whitewater, Wisconsin. Bought a 321F Payloader about a year ago, and I want to show you what I like and dislike about this machine. When I purchased it a year ago, I had a very difficult time finding videos on the machine by people who actually own them. Case has a couple good videos. A couple of dealerships had some good videos, but nothing that was quite answering the questions I had. I just want to make a video for you guys to show you how this machine is used in a landscape yard, job sites, landscape projects, as well as snow removal, and how it is, how it performs and how it keeps up, and how I've liked it for the past year. Quick walk around on the 321F. Got your battery box at the bottom here. Little toolbox right here for any pins or miscellaneous things you need to store. We haven't put anything in there quite yet. Right here, underneath the driver's passenger side window, we've got our fuse box and also our windshield washer fluid container, nice and sealed up. Haven't had any issues with electrical on this machine. Right here, we've got our hydraulic reservoir, easy to access. Your filter is right here. Very happy with how easily you can view it and access for fill up. Radiators on the side. Right here, you pop it up. Great thing about this machine is it's very, very accessible. You got your air filters, you got your whole exhaust system. Everything's very easy to wash. Fuel filter right here, easy to grab. Oil filter up top. And then off to the side, we've got our fuel fill up off the driver's side door, as well as our coolant fill up right above it. So very easy to access, very easy to fill up all of the fluids. And as far as this machine goes, this does have the ride control. That is very, 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 very nice to have, especially when you get over 20 miles an hour with a smaller machine of this size. You bounce like a sack of potatoes in this thing if you do not have that ride control. So very beneficial when you're reaching those top speeds. Inside the cab, you've got the newer LCD screen with the radio below it, and then the HVAC right below that. Here you have your throttle control up front. 2-speed, single speed back here. And then you do have all these other functions. Some of them I've used, some of them I haven't. Obviously your ride control right here. And then your bucket lockout right here. Hydraulic lockout here. Lights, strobe. And then your cruise control. This is your snail mode. So if you are wanting to use throttle control while you're driving, you do have to have it in the snail mode. And then, yeah. And then I honestly never use these. These are for the hydraulics, the other pins, the hydraulics. This right here controls your dash up top. They are wired for backup cameras, but apparently my dealership told me that backup cameras have not come out for it quite yet. So we are waiting for that. Other than that, your forward and reverse is actually in the hand control, as well as your, for when you're running, when we're running our snow plows, to turn the blade back and forth is right there in the controls. So pretty easy to use. So on the front of the bucket, we've got all of our hydraulic couplers. These are the ones that we primarily use for the snowplow. This floats with the front bucket, so as you raise the blade, you don't have to worry about pulling hoses out. We've got 2 more here, as well as a case drain off the side, and as well as 2 more on that far side. I believe those are for high flow on that side, a little bit larger lines to carry. And then your electrical connections for any attachments are here for that. And then, yeah. That's pretty much it. One thing I highly recommend for guys, if you're running these machines for snow, is to invest in snow tires. These are the Nokia snow tires that we got for the machine. These make a hell of a difference, especially when you're running a snowplow. On this machine, we do run a 12-foot cage with a push box on it. And when you get a full bucket at a, during a storm, it is definitely a major game changer. The last snowfall we did have is the first snowfall of the season. We did not have our snow tires on, and I actually was able to get my tire dealership to open up and throw these guys on because it made that much of a difference that night. We had about 10 to 12 inches of snow. So definitely recommend these. At first, I didn't think it was necessary. Once I had them, though, I would never go back. So there's not a lot of criticisms I can give this machine. I will say one very big pet peeve of mine: in the middle of a snowstorm, we will load salt with this machine, and then we'll go to switch to our cage snowplow, which has hydraulic hookups. When you hook them up, these two couplers here do not have a release. These take at least 2 guys to get slid on and actually get them mounted. I did order a coupler that'll actually engage. It clips onto both fittings. Then you can manually lock them. Gives you a little bit more twisting power on that. But other than that, that's my biggest pet peeve. These fittings down here do loosen up as well, but nothing out of the ordinary and nothing that you can't fix with your own 2 hands at the end of the day. One thing I will say about these machines is, as far as cost goes, to me, this is the best bang for your buck. I paid right under $90,000 for this machine without tax. And this machine, compared to John Deere, any Bobcat, any of the other brands, very well built, very quality build. We've used it for a year. We've sifted dirt with it. We've lifted pallets. We've unloaded our semis of brick, and anything from flagstone to pavers to loading soil into quads. This has been a great machine, very, very stable, very capable. And then as far as it goes from snow plowing, before we owned this machine, we only had skid loaders. As far as the visibility goes out of the cab, these compared to a skid loader are night and day. Visibility is 100%. Ground speed twice as much as you would get out of a skid loader, which is when you're plowing snow, is very, very important. And then also you can also see how far forward you can get your snow blade. So when we put our cage on this machine, the cage actually sits all the way out here. So you have at least 5 feet that you can push over the curbs when plowing snow. Again, not a big deal, but for guys that move a lot of snow, definitely makes a difference. One of my biggest questions, though, when I was purchasing the machine is, can it load a quad axle? And I can tell you, it can load a quad. We loaded a couple hundred this past season. You can load it at the same grade as the quad. High sides, you're going to be bouncing your bucket a little bit more to get it completely empty. The lower side quads, you can dump over them, no problem. What we ended up doing, though, is because we were loading several hundred over the summer, we did put a couple mats down on the ground to create more soil stabilization. When you get the bucket up that high with, we've got a 1.5 yard bucket, keeping that's a 2-yard bucket all day. When you got 2 yards up in the air and you're trying to dump into a quad, the tires obviously on the payloader can move quite a bit, especially with a smaller machine like this. So we did put down mats that did gain us about 8 inches more in height, and it actually made it much, much more comfortable to load the quads with. So if you are getting it to primarily load a quad, just be aware of those issues. We were also loading on just bare dirt, so it wasn't like we were loading on asphalt, so that also weighed into the stabilization issue. But other than that, loading quads, it can do it. Just be prepared to bounce your bucket a little bit if they have the high sides, and then if you are doing a lot of it, get a little bit more clearance out of it, and then also create a little bit more ground stabilization. Just plan on all that. As far as this machine goes, I believe it was a great investment. I bought this machine right below 90 grand. And if you look at any of the other machines this size, this is a 74 horse machine. If you look at any of the other machines from any other dealerships or brands, they are in the 120s to $140,000. And I feel like being under 90 grand on this guy, it was a great investment. Hasn't let me down. As far as how it is, as far as when you're snow plowing and you're moving around parking lots, it turns on a dime. Very much enjoy that. It's a great size. It's not too big where you feel like you can't get in between smaller parking lots. And as far as the ground speed goes, this does have a top speed of 25 miles an hour. Obviously, in a snowstorm with a snowplow, you can usually expect about 21 to 23 miles an hour. But again, that's great to get around town, at least for me. And as far as the mobility, you can sneak in pretty much any spot. We do run the 12-foot cage on this. When I purchased the snowplow, I thought I really needed a 14-foot box on this guy, and I am very, very glad that I was not able to get a 14-foot, because the 12-foot is, I believe, probably the biggest size plow that you'd want to put on a machine this size. It handles it no problem. You can get a full box of snow in front of you and still push it at about 12 miles an hour without bogging down. But as far as also, we take this thing down the streets. When you angle the cage at the side with the 12-foot, you're just about 10 feet wide. So you can sneak it down the roads, no problem. We've had a couple traffic issues where you are very, very tight. I'm not going to lie, but it gets around town, no problem, which is very important for us and our business. And as far as the cab visibility, all the buttons, I thought they were very decent quality. I looked at a couple other brands and they seem like very chintzy buttons. I really do believe that the case has a great cab, great design. As far as my dislikes about it, it's pretty much just the hydraulics there, which is a solvable problem. But as far as everything else goes, love the machine. I'd definitely buy another one. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any other questions on this machine, please hit us up. Let us know. We will answer them. And if you have any other reviews that you would like on snow equipment, snow plowing, let us know. We will be creating a couple more videos for you guys. But other than that, have a great day.